Shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, salutations to you, sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. All right, I just had a quick one. Somebody asked us a question. They said, well, doesn't the sun light up the moon? And you can clearly see, because we just came into a new moon, right? But the answer is no. Right, you can clearly see the answer is no. I'm trying to get a good shot in. You can see the answer is no. Right, it's a crescent moon. The new moon was just Saturday sundown to Sunday sundown. And we tried to, we had Jake come up and ask us, he was asking questions about the moon. He was dealing. The moon is a light, and the scriptures tell you that. This is Isaiah 13:10. It said, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. All right, and Salaki, I forgot to add, west. The moon is where I'm at. The moon was west. Okay, east was behind me. Which the sun just set. What was it, about 2 hours ago? The sun set 2 hours ago. So it's no way that the moon should be able to shine on that side if the sun set, 2 hours ago. All right, the light doesn't bend around the planet like that. The moon should be totally dark if the light of the moon is based upon the sun, because the sun set in the east. Right? It shall not cause her light to shine. The moon has a light. The stars have a light. You can't even, here where I'm at, the big city, you can't see the stars, man. So brothers who, you might not be in a big city, big area, you might be in a smaller place. You might be on an island or in the countryside or whatever. Hey, but at least y'all can see the stars. In these big ass cities, you can't see the stars. You can't see it, And ultimately, the sun and the moon, they stand to mark time. Okay, even the stars in the sky, they rotate, they shift. Where the stars are, it's basically a map. All right, and that was one of the ways that these different Edomites were able to explore the world and come over here. All right, because when you're on the sea, of course they have a compass, but they also use the stars as well. Jeremiah 31:35. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. So there you go, and that's never going to happen. Those lights are always going to shine, the light of the sun, the light of the moon. Now it tells you also that those, basically the sky is going to be darkened in the day of the Lord. All right, but ultimately those lights are going to shine. Right, yeah, that's what happened to Pharaoh, one of the plagues of Egypt, Ezekiel 32:7. And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon the land, saith the Most High. And that's what happened. The Lord had set the land for dark, and he gave us that chariot, all right, which was a pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day. All right, so the Lord gave them darkness, but for us, it also tells you he gave, by that same chariot, he gave the Israelites light. All right, hey, the Lord is going to fuck this place up. Ezekiel 32:7. I will vex the hearts of many people when I shall bring the destruction among the nations into the countries which thou hast not known. Yea, I will make many people amazed at thee, and their kings shall be afraid, horribly afraid for thee, when I shall brandish my sword before them, and they shall tremble at every moment, every man for his own life in the day of thy fall. For thus saith the Most High, the sword of the king of Babylon shall come upon thee. It's another one, Joel 2:31. The plagues of Egypt will return. It said the sun, start at verse 30. Start verse 29. Upon all the servants, and also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit, and I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Lord come. And we've been having a lot of blood moons as of late. June 3rd, and it's one coming this month, and then it's one coming another month. All right, all of these are signs and wonders in the heavens. And quick story time. All right, says October 12, 1492, Columbus came ashore on an island northeast of Cuba, which he named San Salvador, Holy Savior. Over the next 10 years, Columbus would make 3 more voyages to the New World. On his 4th and final voyage, while exploring the coast of Central America, Columbus found himself in dire straits. He left Cadiz, Spain on May 11, 1502, with the ships Capitana, Galega, Vizcaya, and Santiago de Palos. Unfortunately, thanks to an epidemic of shipworms eating holes in the planking of his fleet, Columbus was forced to abandon 2 of his ships and finally had to beach his last 2 caravels on the north coast of an island known as Jamaica in 1503, June 25th. Initially, the Indian peoples welcomed the castaways, providing them with food and shelter. But as the days dragged into weeks, tensions mounted. Finally, after being stranded for more than 6 months, half of Columbus's crew mutinied, robbing and murdering some of the Arawaks, who themselves had grown weary of supplying cassava, corn, and fish in exchange for little tin whistles, trinkets, hawks' bells, and other trashy goods. Basically, they was trading them food for junk. And these people had gold, and they already had resources. With famine now threatening, Columbus formulated a desperate, albeit ingenious plan. So like for all these pop-ups and shit, man. There's Sex in the City. These bitches old as hell. Madness. Wait a minute. Was that a dude turned to a woman? Okay, yeah, good. Lord, remove that bullshit. All right, coming to the Admiral's rescue. This place is out of order, man. Coming to the Admiral's rescue was Johannes Müller von Königsberg. He was a highly regarded German mathematician, astronomer, and astrologer. Before his death, he published an almanac containing astronomical tables covering the years 1475 through 1506. His almanac turned out to be of great value, blah, blah, blah. Providing detailed information about the sun, moon, and planets, as well as the more important stars and constellations to navigate by. After it was published, no sailor dared set out without a copy. Basically, Columbus, of course, had a copy of the almanac with him when he was stranded on Jamaica, and he soon discovered from studying his tables that on the evening of Thursday, February 29th, 1504, a total lunar eclipse would occur beginning around the time of moonrise. Armed with this knowledge, 3 days before the eclipse, Columbus requested a meeting with the Arawak chief and informed him that his Christian God was very angry with his people for no longer supplying him and his men with food. Even though there are accounts where Columbus' men were actually murdering, and stealing from the Arawaks. I don't see it in this particular article, but that's basically what pissed them off. Okay, so-called Ephraim. Therefore he was about to provide a clear sign of his displeasure. 3 nights hence he would all but obliterate the rising full moon, making it appear inflamed with wrath, which would soon signify the evils that would soon be inflicted upon all of them. On the appointed evening, as the sun set in the west and the moon started emerging from beyond the eastern horizon, it was plainly obvious to all that something was terribly wrong. By the time the moon appeared in full view, a small but noticeable dark scallop had removed from its lower edge, and just over an hour later, as evening twilight ended and full darkness descended, the moon indeed exhibited an eerily inflamed and bloody appearance. In place of the normally brilliant late winter full moon, there now hung a dim red ball in the eastern sky. Okay, a blood moon. According to Columbus's son, Ferdinand, the Arawaks were terrified at this sight, and with great howling and lamentation came running from every direction to the ships laden with provisions and beseeching the admiral to intercede with his God on their behalf. So Columbus tricked them and used the almanac, right, which, if they knew their heritage, they would know Deuteronomy 17:3. It says, verse 2, it says, if there be found among you within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy power giveth thee, man or woman that have wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy power in transgressing his covenant, and hath gone and served other gods and worshipped them, either the sun or moon or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, and the thing certain that such abomination is wrought in Israel, then shalt thou bring forth the man or that woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates, even that man or that woman, and shall stone them with stones till they die. All right, the scriptures tell us to worship nothing in the heaven. All right, any of the host of heaven. And so basically, Columbus used that and to trick them to say, yeah, let me confer with my God and he'll turn the moon back, and so the moon reverts back, and then, now it looks like they're back in his good graces as long as they keep giving them food. And that's why First Chronicles 12:32 tells you, the men of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times. When you go into Issachar's history, that's what they were known for, man. They were known for logging the heavens. You see, it's one of those pictures. It's basically a calendar, keeping what we know as the calendar, the times. Even though calendar, I believe that goes actually, that word actually goes back to Esau with his collection of taxes and stuff. But, you get what I'm saying, the times. All right, the times. Understand. And the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do, the heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment. All right, and that's what the Lord actually did, man. He actually turned back time in Isaiah 38:8. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees, which is gone back in the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backward. The sun was a marker for time. It tells you the moon is a marker for the months, all right, in Sirach 43. So the sun returned 10 degrees, by which degrees it was going down. The Lord actually turned time back. All right, so we're dealing with a power that has, hey man, this is the real infinity gauntlet. Okay? And those precious stones, precious lively stones, is his elect. All right? So hey man, it's a beautiful thing to serve the Lord. There's no weapon formed against us. All right, no matter what Esau think he has, what they think that they've come up with, and they've prayed and they've begged, the forces of Satan to give them, there's nothing they can do against the Lord. All right, there's nothing they can do against his truth and there's nothing he could do against his elect. Call a lawyer.